as a member of the grand jury here to probably address that with you. You know, we we do have some time here, and if the board directed us to do so, we could look at that as an alternative if that's something that you're looking at.
The only comment I can make is that, you know, they do have meet in a secret type location where they maintain confidential records and that sort of thing.
Behind locked doors, I understand that.
Right.
And all meeting rooms I've ever been into have the ability to lock the rooms.
But the other thing too is that the courts also assist the grand jury in their process, and so they have, by being next door to the courthouse, they have reasonable access to the courts that would help.
This meeting room that I'm talking about, that down at Information Services, is just as close to the courthouse, maybe one of the block further than where this location is. I've just been down there a couple times, and it's a real nice meeting room, and I don't think they hardly use it there at Information. It's the old Bank of America. It's pretty. Anyways, I just, you know, in my opinion, with the budget cuts coming from the state and everything, in order for us to survive, we're going to have to look at different ways of doing business. And maybe it looks like I'm not nitpicking at the grand jury. If this was any other department or anything, I would view it the same. But I just think it's an area where we can save about, or possibly save, you know, 15 grand a year or something on. And I just think it's, because we're going to have the grand jury forever. So if we have a location within our, how many buildings we have in this county system? Over 100, right?
Yes.
You know, you'd think within maybe 100 different buildings we could find a location to have these people to meet. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think we should look there first before we go out renting outside properties when there's over 100 building locations in the county system. That's my point, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, my concern is along the lines of the length of extension here. I mean, this, I don't know if there's any more cost-effective way to do this. There may be.
We also have an out clause, you know, 30 days.
So there is one, because we were not provided the contract.
Yeah, this is just an amendment to the contract. All the rest of the contract is in full force.
Because it says the amendment to the current lease for an additional 5 years, and it talks about the incremental rate increases to cover the 5-year period. Yes. And along the lines of what Supervisor Pinchas is saying, 5 years is a long time in the kind of fiscal crisis that we find ourselves in. So what specifically is the out clause?
My understanding from what my recollection is either it's a 30-day or 60-day. It's our standard language that we have, you know, in all of our contracts for an out clause, for termination. So we wouldn't be limited
to finding additional space?
No.
Optional space, yes, somewhere else?
That's
either
correct.
A county structure or a less expensive,
yes,
rental space. Okay.
Supervisor.
Have you looked at that space there at the Information Services down at the old Bank of America?
I live there. I live there part of the time.
You know
yes.
what I'm talking. It's probably the nicest meeting room that I've seen in the county
It's a
system.
nice meeting room. I would think one of the issues that the grand jury may have with that is that we could put blinds up, but it's totally see-through, and there is I guess it's a fake wall that we pull that separates a training room from the actual meeting room, and it's not entirely soundproof.
But they need more than just a meeting room. You know, they conduct interviews, they process reports, they have documents, I mean, that they store. It's just, there's more to it than just getting together as a group and around a big table.
May I make a suggestion here? Current lease is due to expire September 30th. We've got a meeting on August 5th and maybe a couple more meetings in August. Maybe we could direct the director to do a cursory survey of county buildings. She'd come back with a little bit more information to fulfill your request.
You know, the reason it brings me to this discussion is when I come on the board in 1995, the county had a general fund deficit, and they were trying to complete the funding of building this building, and we've come up with the extra money and got this building. And the whole reason this facility here was done was to get away from having county departments and everything in rental space throughout the Ukiah. Okay, now it seems like we've got this all building, we're still making huge interest and principal payments on this facility, but yet we're back to renting small locations around Ukiah. And I'm just thinking over 100 buildings we have in this system now, including this one. And actually, if you look at it, our amount of personnel throughout is at, what, 57, 58 positions we have less this year than we did last year. So that should open up, with some consolidation or different arrangements, some sort of, maybe some space available. And I'm not, maybe in this specific issue, because of the certain needs of the grand jury, maybe it's not possible. But I just think that we need to get away from this issue and utilize our buildings more instead of just renting space, you know. And the issue of this is it's 100% general fund. We're not getting reimbursed from, you know, actually I think probably there's several meetings down at the South State, down at the old UK Shopping Center where the social service is located. They got huge meeting rooms down there, and vacant offices that are available. Maybe there's some options there. I mean, I just think it's something that we're going to have to do business in a different way to come up with these savings, because we're at the budget process, and I've said this a dozen times before, we're going to be trying to funding something for $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, and we say, well, we can't do it because there's no money. So, you know, and I'm sure that the grand jury, I mean, they just want a meeting room that, and like you say, that meet their functions. I don't think they necessarily care about on what street address they are here in the Ukiah Valley. So
what I can do is get with the grand jury and get exactly what their needs are and what their functions are, and then look to see if there's any possibility to accommodate them elsewhere.
This is just an extension, basically, of the lease. So it's something that we're not, by denying this today, we're not holding up anything.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, my suggestion still stands that we take no action on this item and allow the GSA director to do a cursory survey and come back to us. Is that allowable to the board? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks. Trying to herd cats again here, folks. To the county council, do you have any report? No. Okay. Let's move to appointments, boards and commissions. Just one announcement, reminder that we do have some vacancies on the Planning Commission. If there's any effort from the 1st and the 5th district to get those appointees, I would appreciate it. Other than that, 2 board members.
Yeah, I would second that, Mr. Chairman, to urge the board members with their vacant planning commissioners to try to get, it's real important to get those positions filled.
Okay, Supervisor Delmore?
It isn't without effort, believe me. It's a difficult job to find qualified individuals to fill those. So the effort's ongoing.
You know, and that brings up another discussion because of the commitment
Good job, Mr. Chair.
of a planning commissioner.
We're doing